Original.
Hello and welcome to Web Crawlers. This is our Friday mini episode where we will talk about everything mysterious, confusing, weird, true crime, occult, and supernatural, but in a shorter time frame sometimes. I am Allie Siegel.
I am Melissa Stettin.
And I, producer Maria.
Today, we are going to get into the ever elusive NFT, something that has been a hot topic lately and something I don't understand whatsoever. Per usual, Melissa is going to try to explain it to us, maybe Maria a little bit. And then we have two fantastic guests on who actually know what they're speaking about. So we're very fortunate to have them. Melissa.
Yes, Allie?
Explain it to me like I'm me. What is this whole thing?
So I have a very basic understanding of what an NFT is. It stands for non-fungible token.
Okay.
Here's a quote that I read about fungibility. Fungibility is a good or asset's interchangeability with other individual goods or assets of the same type. Here's an example. Allie, you borrow $100 from Maria.
Uh-oh. Okay. I'm sweating.
God. So am I.
To pay her back, do you really need to give her that same exact $100 bill? No, you don't.
No.
You can pay her back with another $100 bill, or you could give her two $50 bills, $10 bills, and it'll be perfectly fine because, most currencies, for the most part, are fungible. That's what fungible means.
Okay.
Now, let's suppose Allie borrows Maria's car.
Oh,
no. Gonna go on a joyride.
You better give me back that car. Here's the front end and the back end of two different cars.
Well, there you go. Will Maria be okay with Allie returning like some other car to her? What if you break up the car into parts? You give her the engine, the wheels, the door. Will Maria be happy?
No, she won't be.
I'll be pissed.
Yeah. So what happened here? So a car counts as a collectible. That's why it's non-fungible.
Non-fungible.
Yeah. So a car is like a collectible, which is why it's non-fungible. You can't funge it around. You can't, like dollars, you can funge around to make them in, like, 4 quarters makes $1. There's multiple ways you can pay someone back.
I like turning it into a verb. So I can like funge around.
Fungy.
I can fung around my money, but I can't
funge it around.
I can't funge Maria's car.
Exactly. There you go. The fundamental difference between a fungible asset and a non-fungible asset is just that you cannot interchange a non-fungible asset. Like $100 in Bitcoin, $100 in cash, fungible.
I have a question that might derail us.
Oh boy.
And you can come back to it later. But like crypto isn't like a real, because later on we're going to be talking about how like crypto's bad for the environment or something like that.
Yes.
Crypto isn't like a real thing, right? It's not like an actual token or like
no,
but
it takes energy and power to create it. It's just a series of algorithms just created these numbers, but there's a lot of computers and things that go into it. I don't know exactly how it's created. It's so complicated, but it takes a lot of energy.
And people are saying that's bad for the environment?
Well, yeah, because it uses a lot of energy. Like when you run your computer, you have to run hundreds of computers at the same time.
I find it so hard to believe, but I mean, I guess it's true if people are saying this. Well, I mean, people can say anything. That
if you had 1,000 computers in your house and you were running them 24 hours a day for a year, your electricity bill would be insane and you would be using up so much energy.
Yeah, of course. But like,
and it's bad for the environment.
Of course, I understand that. But I mean, it just seems so, I don't know, surprising to me. Bitcoin requires that much energy when people are doing so many other things on the computer that I imagine also expend a lot of energy. Like I'm surprised.
It all adds up.
Like I'm surprised that it's like Bitcoin's horrible for the environment. Like, what about like people who keep their Christmas lights up all year?
Well, if they're LEDs, not that bad.
Okay, true. All right. Well, there goes my Christians are bad for the environment.
And we can have hopefully our first guest will be able to explain this better because that's what they specialize in.
Okay,
so
sorry,
like,
derailed us.
so your car or your house or your pet or an NBA trading card, non-fungible because they're like unique. They're like you can't be replaced.
Yeah.
Currencies gain more value by their fungibility. The more widely accepted a specific currency is, like Bitcoin, the more people will use it and the more its perceived value will be. So everyone's like, oh, Bitcoin's valuable. People just decided all of a sudden that Bitcoin is valuable, and now it is. That's with a lot of cryptocurrencies. Or if people think, NBA trading cards are valuable, baseball cards are valuable. If enough people think it's valuable, then you can make money off of it.
It's like the Princess Diana Beanie Baby. Like all of a sudden,
exactly.
It was something, or the Tickle Me Elmo.
Exactly, and that was a fad. So it wasn't like that's why it's not currency. That's why like these things are often fads.
Yeah.
Well, in the circles Allie runs in, they are currency.
I'll trade you one Tickle Me Elmo.
I wonder how much is a Princess Diana Beanie Baby on eBay right now? Do people still sell
I'll tell
them?
you, I tried to sell my Princess Diana Beanie Baby on eBay a few years ago. And also there was Aaron, the St. Patrick's Day bear, which are both expensive bears. I tried to sell.
I had that one.
Yeah, it's expensive. I tried to sell them on eBay for $800 and got no takers.
Wow.
Did you get any bids?
No, 0 bids.
Or you put it up for $800 and everyone was like,
no bids. Yeah.
You should have put up for $5.
I know.
So NFTs, they are created with a bunch of computers running algorithms and equations. And these all go into like this string of letters and numbers, which is known as a digital ledger, which goes into a blockchain. So a blockchain is just when you see all these strings of numbers, like blah, 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 like that's a blockchain.
Like the Matrix. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. I'm like doing very well.
You are doing well.
Yeah, you are.
So most NFTs are part of the Ethereum blockchain. And you've heard of Ethereum, right? It's a cryptocurrency.
Because it's bad. Never mind.
What did you think it was?
Well, because I watched this movie. I watched this movie, Dark Web, Friend Zone Dark Web or something like that. And they pay for bad stuff with Ethereum.
Well, it's a cryptocurrency. Right. It's you can't track. Like Bitcoin, you can't track where it came from. So that's where you buy all your drugs.
They're paying for like snuff with Ethereum.
Okay. Well,
but I guess it's what you do with it. It's not the thing that's bad. It's what you use it for.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, you could use cash to pay for horrible things.
Yeah, like becoming a patron.
Yeah.
So they're on a thing called the Ethereum blockchain. So Ethereum's a cryptocurrency. It's like Bitcoin or Dogecoin, but the blockchain that it lives on also supports these NFTs, these non-fungible tokens.
Oh, really quick, just so I can see it visually. These blockchains live in different planes. Like the Ethereum blockchain is not the same as the Bitcoin blockchain.
Correct. That's what makes all the cryptocurrencies different.
It would be kind of like trying to pay for my lunch with like Swedish money.
Exactly.
And then they'd go like, well, we're not in Sweden. And then you'd be like, well, yeah.
That's exactly right. That's a good explanation. That's good.
Thank you. Oh my God, we're all
I know,
doing
this is
really
great.
well.
And then we get our guest on.
Allie,
she's like, what are you guys
Allie's giving...
She's like, you guys are fucking idiots.
Yeah.
Okay. So you think of an NFT as a certificate of authenticity. But instead of a sheet of paper, it's a unique string of characters like 0x60f182 blah, 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 blah. So that string is connected to a blockchain, and that is what powers cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. So the main difference is that Bitcoins, again, are fungible, which means they are like whatever, interchangeable, and NFTs are non-fungible. So each NFT is unique. Each one is different. because there are all these different
Okay.
codes, letters, numbers, whatever.
It's like they all have their own like serial number.
Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah. And so
Eh?
this is going very well. I didn't think this would go very well.
The student has become the teacher.
Ooh, the student has become the studee.
The Tickle Me Elmo has become the
Oh,
Princess
no.
Diana Beanie Baby.
So NFTs can be anything digital. They can be drawings, they can be music, but a lot of like this current excitement is around using it to sell digital art. The thing is, you can copy a digital file as many times as you want, including the art that's included in the NFT. You can copy it, but the NFTs are designed to give you something that can't be copied, which is ownership of the work. So you can have a picture, you can have JPEGs, you can have whatever, but you don't have the actual. It's like you have a Monet in your house, and there are so many replicas. You buy a print of Monet, you can buy this, but only one person can have the original.
But my question is this, like, what's the benefit to that? Maybe you have the original art that, what's Elon Musk's Grimes made? You have one of Grimes's NFT artworks and you own that original NFT. But then other people can just download the JPEG or whatever and have that. So what's
Sure.
the benefit to having the original?
Well, it's like having an original painting of something. It's worth money. You get bragging rights. You own something that other people think is valuable.
But at least with a Monet, it's tangible. You could put it in, like, you could say, like, oh, these were the paint strokes that Monet used. Like, we can see that.
yes, but with this, it's mostly for bragging rights and to have ownership, and because other people think that it's valuable, which is what is kind of gross about it. It's just saying like, oh, I own this. I own the rights to this. If other people want to buy it, though, that's why it's valuable.
Because it's weird to me that there's not even like a copyright thing. Like, it's not like every time someone...
There is.
Well, no, but I mean, like, every time someone downloads the JPEG, it's not like the person who owns it gets money, do they?
No. The thing with NFTs is that every time you sell it, every time it exchanges hands, the original owner can put like 10% residual on it. So every time it exchanges hands, the artist is still getting paid.
I mean, I understand how it benefits the artist. I don't understand how it ever benefits anyone who's purchasing.
It's because other people think it's valuable.
I feel like we're talking about the internet in like 1985. We're like, we just don't get it. I'm sorry, but it just isn't going to work.
Have you seen those old news clips from like people are like, this internet thing? I don't know if it's going to take off. It's so funny.
There's no way that this is gonna, like, this fad is gonna die out. Like, this makes no sense. I understand how, like, with something like art, I don't think it makes sense. Like, I understand, let's say Joe Rogan made an episode of his podcast in NFT. I could understand how that could be valuable, like owning that property or something, like, or, you know, someone owns a song or something. I understand how there can be value in that. But like Grimes drawing a stick figure or like some other wackadoo, like I just don't understand. I don't understand that part, you know?
It's because other people think it has value as well. If enough people think something has value, you can sell it.
Yeah, but it's like now my Princess Diana Beanie Baby, I couldn't give it away for free. So it's like,
I'll take it off your hands.
well, now I actually don't know where it is. I think one of my older brothers took
Oh, no, it's going to come back around the Beanie Babies are going to be. Okay, so... Do you guys know who Beeple is?
Didn't he do that weird duck or something?
He's that artist who he's made like one piece of digital art every day for the past 10 years or something. And he ended up selling one of his pieces of artwork for $69 million. It was auctioned at Christie's.
I think this is so stupid, guys.
Well, don't be saying that. We've got a piece of NFT artwork that we're putting out in the world today.
Yes.
Yeah, we've got 3.
Yes. Well, apparently it's horrible for the environment.
Well, that it's controversial. So what's the point? So here, what's the point of all this? So
exactly.
If you're an artist, it gives you a way to sell your artwork that otherwise might not be a market for. And so also NFTs have a feature that you can enable that will pay you a percentage every time it's sold, making sure that if your work gets super popular and balloons in value, you'll always see some of that benefit. So that's good.
May I ask a question?
This is interesting.
Yes.
Oh, well, I was just going to say, well, it's very interesting, especially because so much, in who knows in 20 years, is our world going to be completely digital, or whatever. But it now lends itself to being like artists. This is the road to artists owning their work.
Exactly.
Okay, Maria, you've just activated my lizard brain. When I was a computer teacher, I used to do a lot of virtual tours of museums with the kids. Like you could do a virtual tour and like you could go through like the Louvre or, whatever.
That's cool.
So
That's
it's
awesome.
interesting to think that like, like you said, like maybe in the future, everything's going to be digital. Perhaps you have like full digital museums full of NFTs, like an NFT digital museum.
Exactly.
Wait.
Allie's museum, and it's all Princess Diana Beanie Baby dolls.
Why don't we create the first NFT museum?
We should.
Does that even exist?
I don't know. We can ask. We'll ask.
We can curate an NFT museum where people can display their art and people can go see. Does my arm look like kind of skinny right now?
It's very skinny.
Looks like very
not
muscular.
in real life. That would be really interesting. So it makes it, I see in that sense, because I'm like, what are you going to do if you buy a picture, print it out and like paste it on your wall? But if you think about it in like the digital sense, that could be kind of interesting, like a digital museum or some sort of digital forum like that.
Oh, well, I was going to say like the Kings of Leon thing, they just put out their newest album is an NFT, which means that they completely own it. And if anyone were to ever sell if basically the money will always come back to them.
Exactly. So one of the benefits of being a buyer is that it lets you financially support artists you like directly. Instead of like buying through a gallery, they only get commission, buying music through iTunes, blah, blah, blah. You can just give money directly to the artists. And so buying an NFT also usually gets you some basic usage rights. So like you're able to, like if you own this piece of artwork, you're able to like use it in whatever, like there's rights that you have with the artwork to like display it. So who would pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for what basically amounts to a trading card, which is like the NBA Top Shot thing? But that's what makes NFTs so like confusing, is that some people treat them like they're the future of fine art collecting, and some people treat them like they're Pokemon cards.
Because if you're going to put on a VR helmet and live your life in a digital world, then you are going to need art around your digital house.
Exactly.
People think that there's like a theory that the reason VR was created is because the world's going to end and we're going to have to live our life through VR. Like we're all going to like live in caves because the world's going to like explode because of nuclear war, and we're all going to be like living in these like tin bunkers, and our whole world is just going to be VR.
Great. Wow. Sign me up. Anyways, so NBA's Top Shot is a good example for like trading cards, which I own. I have 9. So Top Shot's a digital platform with its own trading cards that use NFTs. So the NBA is selling these digital packs of cards. They've been like super high in demand. There's actually a drop in about 15 minutes.
Oh shit!
That I need to sign up for.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
They're really hard to get. You sign up, and then you're randomly assigned a spot in line. I've gotten a few. So you can showcase your cards online. They're moments. That's like Kawhi Leonard has this sick dunk, and like that's what you own. And they're like serial numbers, and like the lower the number you have, the more valuable it is.
So do you display yours anywhere? Like, do you like have a website with all your?
Because I'm not a nerd, but like. You can do these things called showcases, which like you can send showcase. People can like see all your shots, but I'm not a nerd. So Jack Dorsey, Twitter CEO, he put up his first tweet up for auction, and it's hit $2.5 million. So I read that NFTs in most cases are quote unquote a geeky implementation of bragging rights.
They're also probably pretty classist.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, that's what happens. It's the art world.
Allie?
People like
that art.
Yeah.
That's a whole other episode,
And then there's climate issues, because mining Bitcoin takes a lot of energy from tons of computers.
Like mining Bitcoin is the most confusing. I had all morning after you said that phrase, I was like, okay, Bitcoin's like a metal? I had no idea. And I thought like miners got it.
Like a Minecraft character, like in digital world, literally mining.
Like oil rigs.
like I was so confused. They need to have another phrase other than mining Bitcoin.
Oh, well, our first guest is in the waiting room. Should we let her in? So now we're going to talk to Kathleen Breitman. She is a co-founder of Tezos, and she is going to explain to us what's an NFT, what's a blockchain. Welcome, Kathleen. Thank you for coming on. And
oh yeah, sure thing. I mean, if I can't give an impromptu interview about the things I work on all day, I'm really in trouble, aren't I?
So what exactly do you do? You're the co-founder of Tezos. So what is that?
Tezos is a cryptocurrency. It's a smart contract platform in many ways, very similar to Ethereum. However, one key difference is Tezos actually allows token holders in the network to vote on upgrades to the protocol. So, it was born out of the observation that like Bitcoin and other first-gen cryptocurrencies lack a mechanism to upgrade themselves. And so if you follow Ethereum, for example, they're having a pretty drawn out series of proposals to upgrade the protocol, which has been going on for 5 years. Tezos launched almost 3 years ago, and it's upgraded 5 times. So that's kind of the crux behind it.
What does an upgrade mean?
Yeah, I mean, a simple way to put it would be adding new code and new functionality to the code base.
Okay.
No, I was gonna say I just looked at my Coinbase wallet and I was like, wait, I think I own Tezos, and I do.
Oh, well then.
Wow.
Sometimes
I own 32 Tezos.
That's great.
Wow.
Thank you for supporting the project.
You're welcome.
But yeah, basically upgrading would be something like, hey, we found a tweak to the algorithm that can make it 5 times faster. Why don't we toss that in there? And instead of making it a drawn out process where you have to coordinate with many different miners and actors in the ecosystem, the Tezos network has a way of just pushing that out in a very passive way.
Interesting. And what, in your terms, how would you describe an NFT?
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a few ways to describe it. I'll use 2 images that I think are pretty accessible. Basically, an NFT is a digital certificate. It basically says that you're entitled to, something on the blockchain.
Right.
Another way to think about it is, we very literally call it a non-fungible token to distinguish it from a fungible token. So if you think about cash, you don't hand over something to the cashier and look for serial numbers that have zeros at the end. No, you just hand over cash because cash is fungible. You can use it interchangeably. A non-fungible token is basically something that's been watermarked with some data. So you can say okay, this token is going to represent a right to own a Beeple piece, right? And the data associated with that could be something like metadata that points to a website, or it could be a file on the internet. It's the flavor is very much up to you.
I have a question. They understand this, or they're way more on board than I am for NFTs, and I'm kind of a real dunce about it. But what is the advantage of owning an art NFT? I understand more the NBA clip or a video or a song or things like that. The art is where I'm kind of confused or stuck.
Yeah, and as you well should be, right? It's a pretty recent phenomenon. Digital art obviously existed on the internet as long as the internet has been around, right? And why all of a sudden are things being sold for tens of millions of dollars at auction houses? Yeah, completely fair question. I don't know the answer to that, but basically, one thing I would speculate, just putting on my thinking cap is typically this medium has been kind of very much loved by certain groups on the internet, but very poorly monetized. So what an NFT allows you to do is basically trade these rights between different groups. So finally, you have a way of kind of enforcing scarcity, right? Because you have this single token that can be tracked amongst these different digital ledgers. And then you have basically people who are auctioning these things off. And so there's kind of this, sort of artificial scarcity that can be credibly enforced by a blockchain. And I think that's why people are getting excited about it, because, there have been really good companies that have existed since the 2010s. Sedition is one of them. It's got Damien Hirst, Yoko Ono, all these famous, artists. Right. Making digital versions of this. Why hasn't that succeeded? And yet, the Beeple auction has been, I would chalk it up to digital scarcity. It can be enforced by a blockchain. And also you get to trade it and you have bragging rights. Whereas most digital art that has existed has been very passive, in the sense that like, okay, you download a JPEG. That's not as much fun as trading money things. Like, you're not really on the edge of a volcano there.
And do you think NFTs, do you think it's a fad, or do you think it's like the future of art?
Well, with art, I'm less certain, because it certainly does look a little crazy right now, doesn't it? But your example of NBA Top Shot is an interesting one because it really harkens back to something that was beloved in physical format, the basketball card, and it's something that can be like really well replicated. Some of the things that you liked, like I don't know if you collected cards when you were growing up, but like I did, and I remember being like, I have a Derek Jeter rookie card, and like getting very excited, and none of my friends had one, and that was really cool. It becomes less fun when there's like everyone can own it and download it, so it loses some of the novelty you can when it's more pervasive. So I think like the sort of enforced scarcity from these entities who like Tops or whatever make it kind of fun. With the digital art stuff, it's like there's so much stuff coming through the floodgates. There's a lot of these platforms that don't filter very well or don't curate, that are just publishing anything. And I think that's becoming less fun because, again, like the noise, the signal to noise ratio is quite unfavorable.
Right.
How does something like the Kings of Leon album drop? How does that work as an NFT?
Yeah, so I'm actually not super sure about that because I looked into it because I saw big news, Kings of Leon like dropping an album as an NFT. So basically what that would mean is like they're selling tokens that have like this data attached to it. It's a Kings of Leon album. That's really cool from like, when people, again, harkening back to physical collectible kind of stuff, like you had the box set, you had, if I had $20 for Christmas, I would buy one CD and that CD really mattered, right? Like, I really like that album. And now I just like stream everything on Spotify, and a lot of that magic has been lost, right? So with the Kings of Leon thing, what I think they did, is basically they sold a limited number of these tokens that had their album attached to it in some way. I don't really know the platform that they use. They use like a ticketing platform based in LA that doesn't really look like it could support any of this. And then the rest of it seemed to be put together with like Scotch tape and Discord. So I'm not sure what happened. I'm also not super sure how they're like publishers feel about this, because like my understanding, and again, you're the LA people, so now you have to explain stuff to me. But I basically, I don't understand how licensing works with these things, and I think that's still very much an open question.
Yeah.
So I really don't know the mechanics of it, but ostensibly I have to assume it's like they slapped some MP3s onto a token that they called it a day. So
that's so crazy.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
I have one question. We got a lot of feedback from people, especially on Twitter, that NFTs or like crypto is quote unquote like bad for the environment. What is the truth or the behind that, or the information behind that?
I'm very happy you asked. So basically, what a blockchain is basically a distributed database, and it's supported by a peer-to-peer network that basically validates all the transactions in the database. They use what's called a consensus mechanism to basically secure the validity of the ledger. That you don't have to know about that. Basically, what you have to know is that
good,
in order to do this, you have to prove that you've burned a certain amount of electricity. And yes. And so basically to make attacks of the network more costly over time, you have to burn more energy in order to secure the network. So Bitcoin success is proportional to the amount of energy that it consumes. So, right now Bitcoin as like, I guess, a weird piece of software consumes about the amount of electricity that the country of Bangladesh, which is a country of 163 million people, consumes, right? And like, just a spoiler alert, 163 million people don't use Bitcoin. So it's like disproportionately impactful.
Oh my God.
Okay. And Ethereum, which is the second largest cryptocurrency and a competitor to Bitcoin, and as well as Tezos, is also proof of work. And so they're much smaller. So they're more like Argentina sized levels of emissions on an annual basis. But I guess the TLDR is like, we can't afford the amount of emissions we have today. So adding some like extra Bangladeshis and some extra Argentinas in there, like just for pretend internet money to be more secure, is a little bit excessive.
Right.
Why am I happy you asked me this? Well, it happens to be the case that Tezos is a proof of stake cryptocurrency, meaning that, we don't have the same requirements for energy output. In fact, like token holders take on the responsibilities of miners, and all you have to do is run a specialized piece of software. So it has, a similar carbon emission impact as kind of turning on, a night light at night or
Oh, hell yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
So if you're
okay.
climate and environmentally conscious, then that's absolutely the crypto for you.
You know what? That's been converting a lot of people. So a lot of people who had been minting things on Ethereum are now doing so on Tezos. So that's been a big pull for a lot to
Oh, awesome.
interesting.
Wow. So glad I asked that question.
What is your thought on this is a question from my boyfriend who I'm to ask you.
Why does Maria snore at night?
Yeah, do you know?
Have you been to a sleep clinic?
Whoa. What about OMI? Oh, do you know what is that? OMI. OMI? It's an NFT linked crypto.
Oh, I mean,
Do you have
I
any
gotta be honest with you guys.
information on
Like,
this?
there's like 5,000 cryptocurrencies listed on CoinMarketCap.com. I know maybe 5 of them.
Oh my God.
Like, I have tunnel vision. So
Yeah,
I have OMG. OMG
OMG.
coin.
Well, that's just you bought that for the acronym, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
No,
As
That's
I
like
bought
you
Doggy
and Doge.
Coin
Yeah.
because it was Doggy Coin, Dogecoin
did, yeah.
years ago, and I made a shit ton of money off of
Yeah,
it.
no,
It's great.
I mean, Doge is actually a really great bellwether for the space. To be candid, it's usually like goes up in proportion with the market.
Yeah.
Tezos is XTZ, which is definitely filters for a certain type who are just going on the list.
Yeah.
Alone.
Well, this has been really illuminating.
This is, very
if
helpful.
people want to support your company or find you online or anything like that, where can they reach you or find you?
Sure. I mean, my handle on Twitter is Brightwoman. My last name is Breitman, and I thought that was a little bit more feminist. But
Love it.
and
Love it.
the Tezos project's just Tezos. It was picked because it was an unclaimed.com, so Tezos.com is where you can go. There are better ways to name your project. I've learned in real time, but that one suited me just fine. So yeah, no, happy to be here. Thanks very much.
Awesome. That's perfect. Thank you so much. We really
Yeah,
appreciate
thank
it.
you.
Have a good rest of the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Well, it's interesting that hers is environmentally conscious.
Yeah, that's awesome. That makes me feel better about buying cryptocurrency. And now we're going to talk to Chris Chugden. He knows all about NBA Top Shots, which are NFTs that I own. And he's on this podcast called The First Mint. He knows all about NFTs. So welcome to the podcast, Chris. Chris, I'm trying to sign up to be in the queue for the NBA Top Shot, and the website's not loading.
It's a mutiny right now. They actually announced they're delaying it, and they're like, "We'll let you know when we'll be back." That's basically.
I set
it.
my alarm. It went off 5 minutes
I have
ago.
at least 13 fake meetings on my Outlook calendar right now, and they just keep changing it on me.
So, hello, welcome to our podcast. Thank you for doing this. You have a podcast called First Mint.
I'm part of the First Mint family, the one
Part of the First Mint family,
right,
yes.
the one who conducts all the podcasts, and I've actually been a guest on the podcast already. But LG Doucette is sort of the OG of the First Mint. It was kind of his brainchild, and he sort of brought in a lot of creative minds that he thought would be good additions to sort of building out kind of I guess like a talent network of sorts to talk all things Top Shot, but really bigger picture NFTs in general.
Amazing. So I have 9 NBA Top Shot moments. I don't know why I have them, but there's a lot of hype around it. And every time they do these things called drops, where occasionally at random times they'll give you maybe a day's notice, or we're doing drops where you get like a pack of like 3 moments. Or there's like rare moments, or there's like rookie moments, they have all these names to them. And then people get in line to buy them, and it's becoming so popular that most people don't get them because they're like, oh, we only have 25,000. Get in line. You're randomly assigned a number. Like yesterday there was, or a couple days ago, there was one. I was in line, but I was number 80,502 and they're only selling 25,000 of them.
Oh my God.
And so I've only gotten, I think twice I've been able to get some of these drops. And there's a marketplace where you can sell them for like profit. Like the lower the serial number you have, the more it's worth.
Right. It's sort of.
I'm on the website right now.
It's sort of like.
It's probably
the website's
crashed.
a bit foobar right now, I think. But yeah, in terms of the serial number, you think of it as getting if you had number one, it's like the first one off the press, right? So that's kind of considered the primo one, right? It's the first one off. And if there was 15,000 of them made, number one is the most coveted. And then in basketball or with Top Shot, the jersey match number. So like if LeBron James, if you get the number 23, LeBron James, that's considered a big get as well. And then it sort of, it really kind of muddles out once you get, number 2037 isn't going to be significantly more than number, 5028 or whatever. It'll steadily decline, but not by a significant amount.
Is it random, like getting a pack of baseball cards?
It's
like
so if you get a pack, and it's actually it's such a fun experience. I mean, like all of those kind of nostalgic childhood, moments where you went to the grocery store or whatever, and your parents would let you get a pack of baseball cards or something. It's that whole not knowing what could be in there. You could have something in there that in Top Shot money could like literally change your life, like, which is crazy.
It's really fun.
Yeah, I mean,
you can, the thing is you could leave it closed and then people are selling them as closed. Like you don't know what's in them. Like people are selling them off. I've opened all mine because I can't.
I have one unopened right now.
What am I, crazy?
Yeah,
you do.
I actually lucked in and got a pack on the last drop. I usually get some terrible number like, 89,000 or some crap.
30,000.
Like, if you're below 20, you might have a chance, and I'll get, 121,000 or some crap. But, this last one, I actually got a just really low number. It was like 1,500. So I was like, basically front of the line, like 50. You picture this virtual line,
so
1,500,
crazy.
You're going to get one. So I'm like, you're all excited about it. And yeah, you can see on the site, they'll tell you sort of here's the lot of what could possibly be in there. So it's really transparent in that regard. And that's kind of a big positive of NFTs in general is the transparency aspect of it. I mean, every single NFT that's made, how many there are, who owns which one, when they got it, how much they paid for it, if it changed hands, who it went from, and how much money it went for when it changed hands.
Yeah, there's like a track, like a ledger of everywhere it's been, who's owned it, how much they've paid for it. That's cool.
Basically that's blockchain technology, which might be a scary word to a lot of people who haven't like looked at it at all. But essentially it just means if you imagine sort of a online ledger of buys and sells, it just keeps a record of everything, and it's decentralized. So there's no individual that can kind of like jack with it. Basically, it's a fully authenticated ledger of transactions, basically.
To that effect, I just want to ask a question real quick, like about these transactions. It says here on the website that they've made $400+ million so far. So like, how much does one deck or whatever, one Top Shot cost?
So a Top Shot moment.
I don't know. Is that even the right question? Like, I don't know what question I'm asking.
How much is a moment? They're called moments because they're essentially a highlight, a clip, right? And they don't have sound, but NFTs can embed sound. There's a possibility in the future they put sound. Maybe, it's either the game sound or radio announcer or something cool like that.
Right.
But the moments themselves can range wildly in price. I mean, a lot of the headline grabbing transactions, it'll be like a LeBron goes for 200 grand or something. And that's it'd be, LeBron is essentially, he's Michael Jordan 2.0. A lot of people would, argue one or the other, but he's easily the greatest player of the last 25, 30 years. And he's currently playing and he has moments. So he's kind of the Ferrari of Top Shot. Like you don't really care what kind you get, you just want one. But he's also fetching the highest bids. A lot of people think, they spend $200K on a LeBron James moment, and there's maybe one of in a series, there's maybe like 25 of those that exist in the world. And so if you think you have one of those, there's only 25 of them. And let's say Top Shot eventually has 1 million people signed up and are active in the community. You're one of those 25 out of 1 million people. You've got a pretty rare asset. So those people paying 200 are clearly expecting it to be like a store of value. It's like they bought a bar of gold basically, and they're just going to hold on to it and hope that, 20 years later, that, in some random headline, just like the way they bought it, it's look at what they sold it for, $17 million or something crazy like that.
Do you think NFTs are going to be around in 30 years, or do you think this is a fad, or what's your view on this?
So I think that NFTs will be around. But I think NFTs are sort of the, you had the internet, then you had social media, and then NFTs are going to be kind of this next wave, this sort of evolution of kind of the online world. The thing about NFTs that hasn't been explored a lot yet. So I guess the two things that you could kind of split them in. People will buy an NFT, one, a store of value, meaning I'm going to buy this and hope that it goes up in value. It's a store of value. I'm just hoping that it appreciates.
Right.
The second part of an NFT that I think is why it will have staying power. And I'm not saying every NFT project will survive on this. I think really it'll come down to the most captive intellectual properties, IPs. So the NBA, other pro sports leagues, like Disney. Could you imagine if Disney made a bunch of NFTs of like Marvel superheroes? Like kids would go crazy for that. All of that stuff. So that's the collectible side of it, where it's really, it's fun and you hope that it's worth more. But the other side of it, people call the utility side of it. And I'll give you an example. Imagine in the not too distant future, you go to a concert, and instead of a ticket stub piece of paper, you are given an NFT that is a unique identifier of going to that concert, and you will forever be able to hold it digitally. It can never get stolen or corrupted or lost like a normal ticket stub, or you throw it in the wash with your jeans and it's ruined. You will forever have that record of you going to that concert. What can happen then is that record can then be used later. This is kind of theoretical, but it makes a lot of business sense for, say, a band. They can then turn around and say, hey, everyone who went to that concert, if you have that NFT, show it or, verify it, and you'll get 10% off our merch like this month or whatever, or disc or early access to a new album or something like that. It's the reason that it works is that it is very easy to verify that ownership. It's not like with a ticket stub where it's like, show me this ticket stub and you get buy one, get one at a local restaurant or something. That ticket stub.
So is that different than like Apple Pass or something where you have your like barcode of the concert on your phone? Like, how is that different from an NFT?
The NFT, the difference between that would be the NFT is a authenticated sort of record of you having that ticket stub. Whereas what you're talking about is essentially just a receipt. In NFT, it's a tokenized, NFT stands for non-fungible token, which sounds like a gross reward at like an old arcade or something. but I mean, surely they'll come up with a more elegant word or something for it. But it basically just means it's a unique token where one is not like the other. Every single one is different. And so if you had that ticket again for a concert, it could then be used sort of as a key to gain you access to something else down the road. Or you could turn around and sell it to somebody else. What if you went and you didn't really care for that band or you had a horrible experience, but somebody else is like, I'll pay you $200 for it. And you're like, okay, hand it off. And, maybe you regret it later, but maybe you don't, it's kind of so that's really the thing about NFTs that to me has like very legitimate business staying power from the side of entertainment and from the side of sports. I mean, again, if you went to a sports game and you had that NFT, or with Top Shots, what if you have a Pat Bev Top Shot? What if there was some agreement where Pat Bev said, hey, anybody who owns my moments, like I'm going to send you guys a t-shirt or something. You know, there's all kinds of ways that you can get fan and player engagement going, which I know that gets you excited.
No, that makes sense to me. That's interesting. Now,
That is cool.
Kawhi Leonard. I have one of my top shots. I can actually see myself in the crowd of it.
Wow, really?
Did you plan that? Did you know that?
That's incredible.
Yes, that's why I bought it.
That's incredible.
I was like, oh, I could see myself going like, yeah.
I mean, that is clearly
cool.
an extra value add. I mean,
Oh yes, for me.
That thing instantly is worth what? 12 grand at least. It's like
Yes.
owner
Yes, at
also
least.
in. It's like it's like a player owned moment.
Owner also
Yeah,
in.
you're also
yes.
in there. So
And have you heard of OMI?
I have not.
Oh,
What is OMI?
it's a
Every
cryptocurrency
time you ask someone that, it
used-
sounds like
I've
a
been-
prank, Maria.
Is he talking about OMG, the cryptocurrency?
No, it's OMI. It's an NFT linked crypto.
Really? I am not familiar with OMI. I know that there are a lot of projects that seem to be springing up
Yeah.
literally every day. I think Patrick Mahomes created one the other day. I know Gronkowski
Wow.
is creating one.
Gronk's got NFTs.
It's like Gronk FT or something like that. But I think
Gronk
But
FT.
I think
Wow.
what he's doing is he's actually applying some kind of utility to it, like you can hang out with him if
Right.
you own it, or something weird like that. Which
Wow.
Wow.
That's look at Allie's face. Allie is grossed out.
NFT is like OnlyFans for boys.
yeah,
Wow.
there could maybe
Wow.
get some
Sorry,
weird.
just
Hot
kidding. I
take.
take it
could
back.
get weird
I
for
take it
sure.
back.
I mean, look, it's definitely not lost on creators that the adult industry, let's say, has thought about NFTs for sure.
Oh,
I
sure.
mean, you know, get your limited edition, whoever your favorite
That I
star
can
is.
see how that makes sense.
Oh,
See,
that's interesting.
that I can understand. Okay, can I spitball one more thing at you?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, what do you think of this?
Oh boy.
A
Beanie Babies.
No, a virtual museum of just NFT artwork.
Totally already happening and going to be a thing. There are people who you can
Yeah.
literally put a VR headset on and you are like transported into like the Louvre and your digital art is like prominently featured on there. I'm not saying that's going to be my bag down the road, but that's definitely a thing
Right.
that is going on. I think also, I mean, you might have people with, you know, it sounds a little weird, like Star Trekky or whatever, but what if you had like digital picture frames up and you could kind of like have whatever your digital, you know, if you had that
Okay.
Beeple that went for 69
Yeah.
million
Oh.
or whatever, wouldn't you want?
But they sell those at like Brookstone.
Yeah,
They
I
sell
know,
those
right?
like digital, and they
At
never
Spencer's
caught
Gifts.
on ever.
I know, right?
They never caught on.
I have one that's really nice.
You have-
You
it changes
do?
every day. It changes every day. Like you upload photos to
That's
it.
your screensaver, Melissa.
Big difference.
I've
Big
never
difference.
seen that.
It's
No,
new.
I bet it's very
We just
nice.
got it. It's called the Aura.
Very nice.
It's very nice.
I've seen those before. I mean, the Amazon clearly is going to eventually create all of this for us, and it'll be at our doors in 2 days, and we'll all have
Yeah.
digital frames.
Well,
We're putting up our own NFT. We've got a couple
Really?
web crawlers NFTs that we are launching
on
on Rarible that we're
Rarible.
launching with this episode.
That's amazing. So, are you guys going to have any kind of perks for those who own it, or is it strictly, hey, own this, it's cool? And
Yes, we will have perks. We haven't thought
Well, what
about
it-
that until this second, but yes, we will.
I mean-
they're the price they're at. They start at like 99 cents, I think. It's like a moment where Maria gets mad at us because we've never heard of the Brave Little Toaster. It's like a 1-minute clip of her yelling
Wait,
at
you've
us.
never-
It's like a funny.
you've never heard of the Brave Little Toaster?
I know.
Melissa has
Thank
never
you.
seen
Kidding
it.
me?
Did they
There's
have-
like 3 of
I'm
them.
sorry.
Too. They go to
Ugh.
Mars
I
in
know.
one of them.
I'm
It was
sorry.
weird. It was weird. It was like super weird. When
It was
happened.
weird. And so we're
When I had to
selling that for
explain
like
it.
$1. There's like 25 of them.
Super
you know?
rare. 25.
And then there's a web crawler's moment where Allie gets Portos, right?
Yeah,
Isn't that one of them?
huge.
Gets a
Huge for
delivery for
everyone.
her birthday.
Yeah, everyone's
And
gonna
that's
love
just
it.
a picture.
That's incredible.
Of the
So you guys,
Yeah.
you've really jumped in with 2 feet. I mean, just let's get it. NFTs.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah.
maybe anyone who buys an NFT can get a foot pick.
Ah.
I was thinking, Allie, I was literally thinking that. I was like, whoever buys it gets
If
a foot
that's
pick of
not
Allie.
utility,
Yeah.
Like, I
if
literally
that's not
thought
the
that in my
definition of
head.
utility, I don't know what utility is, honestly.
We're entrepreneurs over
Yeah,
here.
just
The F in
Anything
NFT
for a
stands for foot.
gotta take advantage of the momentum.
If people want to find you online or like listen to any podcasts you're on or support your business or anything along those lines, where can they find you?
Yeah, so I'm at Chugs and Bugs on Twitter. CHUGS in Bugs. I like to put out a lot of stuff on Top Shot and just general kind of takes on NFTs and stuff. But really, right now, it's mostly Top Shot because that's just where a lot of the attention and buzz is at. I've got kind of a finance background, so I like to kind of lean on my knowledge of just how markets work, because this is very much a new market with a lot of, call it animal spirits, where there's just a lot of very wild swings in prices and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so it's nice to kind of, look at things even keeled and get that information out for folks that are trying to learn about this stuff, because the last thing you want to see is people kind of piling in and then not everybody's going to come out with a smiling face, so to say, on it, So
Right.
that's kind of part of the mission there. And then the bigger group is the First Mint, which you can look up at the First Mint. We've got podcasts that go out twice a week. We've got, some live shows on YouTube that can be pretty entertaining and informative at the same time. But yeah, that's basically where you can find us. We don't really have a website up yet, but we're working on that. Everything has literally started from zero. I mean, I started the Chugs and Bugs account like a month ago, and it's kind of gone
Oh my
from
God.
zero to wherever it is now. I mean, it's just,
And look where you are now.
yeah, I'm getting to talk with you guys. Fantastic. So
And if you had one cryptocurrency where you were like, buy this, what would it be?
this
Good
isn't
question.
going to be a very sexy choice. I would honestly just say Bitcoin or Ether. I mean, really,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think that if you're a beginner, and one of the things I've always thought is like, don't really go whole hog on something you don't fully understand.
Like Doggy Coin.
like Top Shots.
I bought Dogecoin years ago. I bought thousands of it years ago. And I have made some money off of it. I'm telling you.
You got a beach house now, clearly, right?
It's coming. It's coming. Yeah. It went into NBA Top Shots. I've invested all my money.
All of it in Top Shots. That's not bad. At least you got cool players. I mean, most of your little stack is nice. I'm impressed.
It's fun.
It's good.
It's fun.
But I'd say Bitcoin or Ether and just kind of go from there. If you really read up on something that you really have a lot of conviction about, then that's your thing. But for me, if you're really starting out, I would say kind of stick with what has kind of been around the most and has the most kind of community-wide acceptance, because that's sort of the main key with all of this stuff, is it's only as valuable as the person next to you thinks it's valuable, which is good and bad, right? Because the more people buy into it, the more valuable it is. But you don't want to jump into something because like one person told you like, hey, have you heard my new coin? Like Squirrel Coin, like get on
Alley Coin.
Alley Coin. No, people are going to be buying that up like hotcakes. Well, awesome. Thank you so much. This has been very illuminating.
Yeah, super helpful.
I'm a little bummed that the virtual art museums are already happening, but
there's still time. We're in there.
Otherwise, yeah, that's true. Otherwise, this isn't going to be great. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Well, this has been super illuminating. I feel a little bit more understanding of the whole concept.
Yeah, me too.
I'm still not fully on board, I'm just going to say.
Sure.
That's fair.
But I understand more.
That's all we can ask for.
I'm open to different points of view.
Okay.
But I'm not personally going to purchase an NFT of anything, I don't think. But I encourage people to buy ours.
So Melissa, let's get the facts out there. Where can people get their web crawlers NFTs?
Okay. Rarible, RARIBLE. And I believe it's /web crawlers. We'll put up the links everywhere. We have 3 moments that you can purchase. Some of them are limited. Some of them are one of a kind. One of the moments
Wow.
is Allie's getting Portos. It is a photograph
Huge.
of Allie's different facial movements while she's surprised, shocked, confused.
I mean, we know I'm very expressive.
One about Maria berating me because I've never heard of the Brave Little Toaster. It's a minute-long audio clip.
Wow.
And then another one is Maria's devil voice. Classic.
Wow.
It's
I mean,
a
that's
classic.
big.
Talking about 69 million. That's going to be the hottest ticket item.
And they all start at, I believe, 99 cents or $1. But the thing is with this, you have to buy it with cryptocurrency. And this is where it gets complicated. You need to have Ethereum to buy it. And the best way to get Ethereum is through this app that I use called Coinbase. And you can buy Bitcoin, you can buy Dogecoin, you can buy Tezos, you can buy any sort of cryptocurrency through Coinbase. And I've used it for years. And you can buy like just 10 like Tezos. You know, there's some of them are like 0.01 cents.
Yeah, buy some Tezos.
Good for the environment. And so then when you go to Rarible, you'll have to enter your details for your crypto wallet. So that's where it gets kind of complicated. But Coinbase is the most user-friendly crypto app I have used.
Yeah.
Here you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Wow.
There you go.
We're the future. This is the future. Welcome.
Welcome.
You guys.
It's
Pretty
great to be
crazy
here.
stuff. Crazy stuff.
Flying cars.
I'm going to start that museum. I don't care what anyone says. I think it's a good
You
idea.
should.
That's a great
you
idea.
Definitely should.
Yeah, I'm going to talk to someone about it. I'm going to talk to Elon. Anyways,
Send him a DM.
guys, buy our NFTs. Let us know if this explanation helped you out. It sure helped me out a lot. Thank you to our guests also. I am Allie Fungible Seagull.
Ooh. And I'm Melissa Non-Fungible Stetton.
And I'm producer Maria Fungi Blasucci.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, boy. All right, bye.
Bye.
An Erios original.
Powered by Acast.